Hello, everyone, and welcome to Complete Total Knee Replacement Rehab, your step-by-step roadmap from surgery to full recovery. My name is David Brennan. I am an exercise therapist specialist, licensed physical therapist assistant, and founder CEO of Cross Human Performance, an exercise therapy company. I have 13 plus years experience helping people recover stronger, faster, and more confidently after knee replacement surgery. In this webinar, I'll break down exactly what you can expect every week of your recovery so you know what to focus on and what to look out for. And I'll even share some at-home exercises and mobility drills that you can do right after surgery. And every week moving forward. So whether you're just had surgery and are wondering what to expect as you recover, you're stuck in recovery and need some new ideas, or you're planning for your future knee replacement and want to know what's ahead, I think you'll walk away from today feeling more confident in your recovery no matter what stage you're in. So let's get right into it, starting with what to expect after surgery. The first couple days following surgery will be marked by some swelling, pain, and stiffness around your knee. This is completely normal and to be expected. Be sure to keep your knee elevated, iced, and compressed with a wrap to minimize swelling. My general rule of thumb is to ice your knee for 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off every day for the first 2 weeks post-op. Also, be sure to drink plenty of water to flush out inflammation. Most surgeons recommend about 64 ounces per day of water. In terms of movement, the goal is to achieve 90 degrees of knee flexion by 2 weeks after surgery. Any more than that is great, but don't stress about pushing it too hard if it's uncomfortable. You may also notice that your movements feel a little off or restricted, especially if you had a lot of bone-on-bone wear prior to surgery. That's because your brain needs time to learn how to control your new joint. So while you won't have full function right away, you should notice gradual improvement in terms of pain control, swelling, and movement over the first couple days, 2 weeks. Just be mindful of the anesthesia effects wearing off over the first few days post-op. You may feel a little foggy or loopy as it does, and remember that fatigue is also normal in the early stages of recovery, so pace yourself and don't overdo it on the first couple days when your energy is low. In terms of walking, you'll likely start with a walker, cane, or crutches, and when to switch between these will depend on your surgeon's orders and your own comfort level. Generally, you'll transition from a walker to a cane when you're able to walk about 100 feet with minimal pain and instability. Most people can do this within the first couple weeks post-op, but again, it all depends on your individual circumstances. For instance, I had a patient who was up and walking with a cane within just 3 days post-op because he was younger and in great shape beforehand. Then I had another patient who needed a walker for an additional 4 weeks because she was older and had more extensive bone loss and bone-on-bone wear prior to her surgery. So use an assistive device only as long as you need it. Don't push yourself too hard on the first couple days when you're still getting your bearings, and be sure to stop and rest when you're fatigued. Daily walking is fine, but overdoing it where you're limping and barely able to walk afterwards is not okay in the early stages. Alright, now let's dive into a week-by-week breakdown of the rehab process so you know what to expect every stage of recovery. Like I mentioned earlier, the first 2 weeks after surgery are mostly about swelling control, quad activation, and knee straightening, since your incisions are still fresh and there's residual inflammation. Be gentle with your movements and avoid anything that makes your knee feel unstable, gives you a pop or a click, or causes a flare-up of symptoms. You'll want to spend a lot of time in the first couple weeks focusing on simple bed exercises like heel slides, ankle pumps, and quad sets, which I'll demonstrate later in this video. Once you're cleared to advance to the stationary bike, you'll likely start with just 5 to 10-minute sessions a couple times a day. As you build endurance, you can work up to 30 minutes at a comfortable pace. Around week 3, you should be able to fully extend your knee, and if you haven't achieved 110 to 120 degrees of knee flexion yet, you'll want to start focusing on that too, to improve your range of motion. You can try things like towel knee bends, chair knee bends, and wall slides. You can also start working on your walking pattern. which we call gait rate training, to improve coordination and balance with each step. Mini squats, step ups, and heel raises are good options to build lower body strength, starting with just body weight and then adding light resistance as tolerated around week 4 to 6. By week 6, you should have most of your knee flexion and extension back and be building functional strength with exercises like lunges, squats, and step-ups. You may still be limited going up and down stairs, though, so you'll want to work on that too. Going upstairs in particular is one of the trickiest motions after CUR, so practice going up and down stairs until you can do it fluidly without holding on to anything. By week 6, you should also be able to walk about 15 to 20 minutes continuously without stopping for rest. If you're not there yet, continue to build your endurance with short, frequent bouts of walking throughout the day. From week 7 through month 3, your focus will shift to building strength, stability, and endurance. You'll likely be cleared to do longer walks outside of your home, but be careful of weather and other environmental factors that could affect your safety. You can add in things like step-ups, mini lunges, and squats with resistance. Bands or household items like soup cans and jugs of water to build strength. I'll share some sample exercises later in the video. Make sure to include a variety of movements that target your quads, hamstrings, glutes, and calf muscles. You'll also want to challenge your balance by standing on one leg and practicing reaching and stooping to pick up objects while in this position. Other helpful activities include yoga and tai chi, which can improve your strength, flexibility, balance, and mental focus all at once. You'll continue to gain range of motion and endurance over the next few months, so keep track of your weekly progress and be patient with any plateaus along the way. We'll talk more about that in just a bit. By month 3, you should have mostly regained your functional strength, range of motion, and endurance. At this point, you should be able to return to your normal activities like kneeling, gardening, golf, travel, etc. If you're an athlete, you may need to add in some sport-specific drills to build up the neuromuscular control necessary. For running, jumping, or pivoting, if you play basketball, for example, you'll want to work on lateral steps, single leg hops, and figure-8 runs. If you run, you'll need to start with a walk-run program and gradually increase your mileage. If you hike, you'll want to work on going up and down stairs and uneven terrain with a weighted backpack. If you cycle, you'll need to build up your quad strength and balance with resistance exercises and single leg stance drills. The last thing I'll touch on is what to do if you experience setbacks or hit a plateau in recovery. While the timeline we discussed is a good benchmark to follow, remember that everyone is different and there's no way to predict exactly how recovery will go. Some weeks will be better than others. Some weeks you may feel like you're making great progress, and other weeks you might feel like you're not making any progress at all. This is completely normal and to be expected, so don't get discouraged. You'll know you're ready to push when your knee feels warm, loose, and more flexible. You'll know you need to back off when you feel cold, stiff, and tight. If you're having trouble gauging this, a helpful tip is to track your weekly progress by measuring your knee flexion and extension every week. You can do this with a goniometer or with a photo app like the one I've linked below. If you're not making progress or feel like you're hitting a plateau, try incorporating self-massage and heat before movement and cold after to loosen your tissues. Remember to pace yourself mentally too. Some weeks will be slower than others, that's for sure. But if you focus on the progress you are making instead of the progress you're not making, it'll help keep you motivated. Now, if you've tried all of these strategies and you're still not making progress, you may need to consider a second opinion. This could mean pursuing a MUA or a more advanced therapy option like physical therapy or a specialized CUR clinic. Remember, you don't have to go through recovery alone. There are resources available to help you out if you're struggling. Before we wrap up, I wanted to leave you with a few bonus tips that I think will help speed recovery and optimize results. First, keep in mind that healing is not linear. There will be good days and bad days, weeks and months. Some weeks you'll feel like you're making great progress, and other weeks you might feel like you're not making any progress at all. That's completely normal and to be expected, so don't get discouraged. Second, eat plenty of anti-inflammatory foods like fruits, veggies, whole grains, and lean protein. These foods will help reduce inflammation and promote healing. A good rule of thumb is to eat a rainbow of fruits and vegetables every day and choose whole grains and lean protein sources like chicken, fish, beans, and tofu whenever possible. Also, be sure to drink enough water to flush out inflammation. Most surgeons recommend about 64 ounces per day of water. Fourth, get plenty of sleep. Rest is essential for healing and recovery. Try to get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night. If you're having trouble sleeping, try going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, keeping your bedroom cool, dark, and quiet, and avoiding caffeine and alcohol before bed. Fifth, establish a daily routine. Having a routine will give you something to look forward to each day and provide a sense of normalcy and accomplishment. Start each day with some movement, like a morning walk or some gentle stretches, followed by some strength exercises, and end each day with some gentle stretching or foam rolling. All right, that brings us to the end of today's webinar. If you found this information helpful, I'd love to hear about your recovery journey. Feel free to drop me a comment below. I read all the comments and try to respond to as many as I can. Thanks for joining me today and best wishes for a smooth and speedy recovery.